Look around you. Most people spend their entire lives as background characters in someone else's story. They move when the crowd moves. They speak when it is safe. They laugh when others laugh. They ask for permission before they become powerful. They wait for approval before they trust themselves. They lower their voice so weak people feel comfortable. They hide their ambition because attention frightens them. And then they wonder why the world ignores them. But listen carefully. The world does not ignore you by accident. The world ignores you when you teach it that you are ordinary. Every time you beg to be understood, you lose power. Every time you explain your worth to someone who cannot see it, you become smaller. Every time you chase attention, you prove you do not deserve it. Machiavelli understood this cold truth. People are drawn to power they cannot fully understand. They respect mystery. They fear control. They obey certainty. That is why the magnetic man does not run after the room. He enters the room and lets the room adjust to him. Main character energy is not about acting loud. Loud men are often hiding empty souls. It is not about showing off. The man who constantly proves himself is still a slave to opinions. Real aura is quiet pressure. It is the feeling people get when they sense that you are not easily impressed, not easily shaken, and not easily owned. You stop reacting to every insult. You stop explaining every decision. You stop letting random voices enter your mind like they paid rent there. You become selective. Your words become rare. Your time becomes expensive. Your silence becomes uncomfortable for those who used to control you through emotion. This is where your magnetic aura begins, not when you become perfect, but when you stop being available to everything. The desperate man repels because he needs too much. The disciplined man attracts because he needs little. He does not beg for love. He builds value. He does not chase respect. He becomes dangerous to disrespect. He does not announce his transformation. He lets his presence speak before his mouth does. From today, move like your life has a mission. Walk slowly. Look directly. Speak less. Observe more. Never rush to prove that you belong. Kings do not ask the crowd if the crown fits. They wear it until the crowd believes it was always theirs. And before we go deeper, comment this phrase now. I become the force, not the follower. Because the moment you stop living as a side character in other people's opinions, you begin writing a story that the world cannot ignore. Mistake number 1. Stop performing, start commanding. The first mistake ordinary people make is this. They perform their personality for the world. They wake up and immediately ask themselves, how will people see me today? They dress for approval. They speak for approval. They post for approval. They laugh at jokes they do not find funny. They agree with opinions they secretly despise. They shape themselves into whatever version gets the least resistance. And slowly, without noticing, they become a product for other people's comfort. This is why their aura dies. This is why their energy becomes weak. Because a man who is always performing can never be magnetic. He is too busy checking the audience. He is too busy reading faces. He is too busy asking invisible judges for permission to exist. But you are not here to become another actor on the stage of public approval. You are here to become the force that makes the stage shake. Machiavelli knew that power does not come from pleasing everyone. Power comes from understanding what people respect, what they fear, and what they secretly obey. People may say they love kindness, but they follow certainty. They may praise humility, but they notice dominance. They may pretend they admire softness, but they remember the person who made them feel a presence. That does not mean you become cruel. It means you stop being weak in the name of being good. There is a difference. A weak man is controlled by reactions. A strong man controls his reactions. A weak man changes his voice depending on who stands before him. A strong man carries the same inner command whether he is facing a friend, an enemy, a crowd, or silence. This is main character energy. It is not arrogance. Arrogance needs witnesses. Real power does not. Real power can sit alone in a quiet room and still feel royal. Real power does not need applause to know it exists. You must understand this deeply. The world studies you before it respects you. People watch your eyes. They watch how quickly you respond. They watch how much you explain. They watch whether you become nervous when ignored. They watch whether you chase when someone pulls away. They watch whether your mood can be controlled with one sentence. And once they discover your weakness, they will press it like a button. That is dark psychology, not fantasy, not movie villain nonsense, human nature. If people learn that silence makes you anxious, they will use silence. If they learn that rejection makes you desperate, they will reject you to control you. If they learn that criticism makes you collapse, they will criticize you whenever they want obedience. So your first duty is to become unreadable to small minds. Not fake, not emotionless, controlled. There is a difference between hiding your feelings and mastering them. Hiding means fear. Mastery means choice. You can feel anger and still speak calmly. You can feel attraction and still walk away. You can feel insulted and still remain composed. You can feel pain and still move with dignity. That is the aura people cannot explain. They sense that something inside you does not bend easily. They sense that your inner throne is occupied. And when a man sits firmly on his own throne, the world stops trying to drag him into every street fight. This is why you must stop overreacting. Every reaction is information. Every emotional outburst is a confession. Every desperate explanation tells people exactly where to strike next. Speak less, watch more. Let people reveal themselves while they think they are studying you. The magnetic man is dangerous because he listens without giving away his full position. He does not interrupt to prove intelligence. He does not rush to defend every rumor. He does not panic when misunderstood. He understands that mystery is not created by pretending to be deep. Mystery is created by not being available for easy access. Your thoughts are not public property. Your plans are not community entertainment. Your emotions are not toys for bored people. Stop giving people the full map of your mind, then acting shocked when they walk straight into your weakness. If you want main character energy, become selective with your access. Not everyone deserves your humor. Not everyone deserves your softness. Not everyone deserves your loyalty. Not everyone deserves the version of you that took years of pain to build. Some people should only meet your discipline. Some should only meet your distance. Some should only meet your silence. This is not bitterness. This is strategy. A man who gives everything to everyone becomes common. A man who controls access becomes valuable, and value is the root of magnetism. People are drawn to what is rare. They protect what feels difficult to replace. They chase what does not chase them. So become rare, become difficult to read, become impossible to emotionally purchase. Let your life communicate that you are moving towards something bigger than attention, bigger than gossip, bigger than being liked by people who have not even mastered themselves. And listen carefully, because this will separate you from the crowd. Your aura is built in private before it is felt in public. The gym builds part of it. Discipline builds more. Silence builds even more. Keeping promises to yourself builds the deepest part. Every time you say you will do something and you actually do it, your spirit begins to trust you. That trust becomes posture. That posture becomes presence. That presence becomes aura. People can sense when a man has abandoned himself. They can also sense when a man has become loyal to his own rise. So, tonight, before you sleep, make one private promise and keep it tomorrow. Wake up when you said you would. Train when you said you would. Work when you said you would. Stay silent when your ego begs to react. Walk away when your old self wants to chase. That is how you build command. Not with motivational noise, with proof, quiet proof, repeated proof, brutal proof. Comment this now. My silence builds my power. Because the man who stops performing for the world begins commanding the world without begging for its attention. And once you become the kind of person who no longer needs to be seen to feel valuable, that is when everyone starts watching. Mistake number 2, the law of silent gravity. The second mistake ordinary people make is believing attraction comes from effort. They think if they speak louder, dress flashier, explain harder, impress faster, and reveal more, the world will finally notice them. But attention gained through effort is weak attention. It fades quickly. It has no weight. It is the attention of noise, not power. True magnetism does not beg the room to look. It makes the room feel something before anyone understands why. This is the law of silent gravity. The sun does not chase the planets. The king does not chase the crowd. The mountain does not explain its height. It simply stands, and everything around it adjusts. That is the energy you must build. Not desperate energy, not entertainer energy, not please notice me energy, but the cold, controlled, focused presence of a man who has stopped negotiating with his own weakness. Machiavelli understood that people are not only controlled by words, they are controlled by perception. They respond to what they believe you are. If you appear uncertain, they test you. If you appear hungry for approval, they feed you crumbs and call it love. If you appear emotionally easy to shake, they shake you whenever they need control. But when you appear composed, selective, and internally ruled by something deeper than attention, people become careful. They lower their foolishness around you. They measure their words. They sense that access to you is not free. That is aura. Aura is not magic. Aura is the visible shadow of discipline. It is the way your eyes stop begging. It is the way your body stops rushing. It is the way your mouth stops trying to fill silence. It is the way your decisions stop needing applause. You become magnetic when people feel that you have a private world they cannot enter unless they earn it. Most people are too available. They answer instantly. They explain instantly. They forgive instantly. They react instantly. They expose every wound, every plan, every fear, every desire, and then wonder why people treat them like open books. But open books are easy to close. A powerful man is not closed because he is afraid. He is closed because he knows that what is valuable must be protected. Your attention is not charity. Your time is not cheap. Your presence is not something people should receive just because they are bored. If someone brings chaos, you give them distance. If someone brings disrespect, you give them silence. If someone brings games, you remove the board. That is how you train the world to approach you correctly. You do not lecture people into respecting you. You behave in a way that makes disrespect expensive. And understand this deeply. Your aura weakens every time you betray yourself to keep someone around. Every time you laugh when you feel insulted. Every time you stay where your spirit feels drained. Every time you accept small treatment because you fear being alone. Every time you shrink your standards so someone else can remain comfortable. You think you are being patient, but your soul knows you are negotiating against yourself. And once you negotiate against yourself, your energy changes, your posture collapses, your voice loses authority, your eyes become uncertain. People may not know the exact reason, but they feel the weakness. This is why self-respect is not a motivational phrase. It is a weapon. It protects your aura from becoming common. A man with self-respect does not need to announce boundaries. His behavior announces them. He does not threaten. He withdraws. He does not argue with disrespect. He exits it. He does not beg to be chosen. He chooses himself so completely that being rejected by the wrong people feels like protection. That is main character energy. Not because you believe the world revolves around you, but because you stop revolving around everyone else. You stop making strangers the judges of your identity. You stop letting weak opinions become the weather inside your mind. You stop confusing attention with value. Listen carefully. Some people will call your distance arrogance because they benefited from your availability. Some will call your silence cold because they used to control you through reaction. Some will call your boundaries selfish because they were comfortable with your self-betrayal. Let them talk. The moment you begin rising, the people who preferred you small will become philosophers of your flaws. They will explain why you changed. They will pretend to miss the old you, but what they truly miss is the version of you they could predict, access, and manipulate. Do not resurrect that version to make them comfortable. Bury him with honor. Thank him for surviving. Then walk forward without him. At Psygrythm, you are not being trained to become cruel. You are being trained to become controlled. Because uncontrolled kindness becomes weakness. Uncontrolled anger becomes stupidity. Uncontrolled love becomes obsession. Uncontrolled ambition becomes chaos. But controlled energy becomes presence. Controlled silence becomes fear. Controlled focus becomes wealth. Controlled detachment becomes freedom. This is the dark lesson. People do not respect what they can constantly interrupt. If you are always available, you become background. If you always respond, you become predictable. If you always explain, you become easy to judge. If you always chase, you become easy to replace. So stop being everywhere. Stop giving your full energy to people who give you half interest. Stop proving loyalty to people who treat your heart like a waiting room. Build a life so focused, so sharp, so filled with private progress that people can no longer reach you through cheap drama. Become busy with your rise. Become unavailable to your old distractions. Become loyal to the future version of you who is watching your current decisions with either pride or disappointment. Comment this now. My presence is earned, not given. Write it like a contract with yourself, because from this point forward, access to you must have standards. Your aura must have gates. Your mind must have guards. Not everyone who knocks deserves entry. Not every emotion deserves action. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every person who misses you deserves your return. This is where your power becomes dangerous, because you stop being controlled by emotional bait. Someone ignores you, and you do not panic. Someone doubts you, and you do not perform. Someone leaves, and you do not collapse. Someone praises you, and you do not become addicted. You remain centered. You remain observant. You remain sovereign. And when people realize they cannot pull you into their rhythm, they begin adjusting to yours. That is leadership without begging. That is dominance without shouting. That is aura without performance. The world is full of men trying to look powerful while secretly starving for validation. Do not become one of them. Build the private foundation first. Train your body until your posture carries discipline. Train your mind until silence feels natural. Train your tongue until your words become precise. Train your emotions until rejection no longer makes you desperate and praise no longer makes you drunk. Then walk into the world slowly, calmly, with no need to prove. Let your eyes say what your mouth does not. Let your standards speak before your explanations. Let your absence punish what your anger used to chase. This is how you become magnetic, not by forcing people to admire you, but by becoming so aligned with your mission that admiration becomes a side effect. A man with purpose does not chase a spotlight. His purpose becomes the light. And when your life begins to move with that kind of cold direction, people will feel it. They will wonder why you seem different, why you no longer react the same, why your silence feels heavier, why your presence feels sharper, why losing access to you suddenly feels like a mistake. That is when you will know the shift has happened. You did not become louder, you became deeper. You did not become cruel, you became selective. You did not become untouchable by hiding from the world. You became untouchable by no longer handing the world your strings. Number 3, the power of controlled mystery. The third law of main character energy is controlled mystery. Listen carefully. A man becomes weak the moment everyone knows everything about him. His wounds, his plans, his desires, his fears, his next move, his emotional triggers, his private battles, his hunger for attention, his need to be loved. Once people know the full map of your inner world, they do not need strength to defeat you. They only need access. This is why Machiavelli never trusted complete exposure. He understood that power must always keep something hidden, not because you are fake, not because you are afraid, but because a man without mystery is a man without defense. Ordinary people talk too much because silence makes them uncomfortable. They reveal too much because they confuse openness with connection. They announce every goal because they want applause before they have earned victory. They expose every heartbreak because they want sympathy from people who may secretly enjoy their weakness. And then they wonder why their aura feels ordinary. Understand this cold truth. The more people know, the less they imagine. And imagination is what creates gravity. When people cannot fully read you, they begin filling the gaps with their own curiosity. They wonder what you are thinking. They wonder why you are calm. They wonder what you are building. They wonder why you no longer react. That wondering becomes attention. That attention becomes influence. That influence becomes power. This does not mean you should pretend to be mysterious like a child playing a character. Real mystery is not acting dark. Real mystery is discipline. It is the discipline to not explain every mood, the discipline to not prove every point, the discipline to not broadcast every success, the discipline to not let your mouth leak your future before your actions can protect it. A powerful man speaks when his words increase his value, not when his ego wants relief. He does not give people emotional updates like he is a public announcement. He does not tell the world, I am healing, I am grinding, I am changing, I am coming back. No, he simply changes, quietly, ruthlessly, privately. And by the time people notice, it is already too late to stop him. That is the Machiavellian way. Let results become your announcement. Let silence become your armor. Let your absence become the question they cannot answer. Because when you explain less, people feel more. When you reveal less, people look closer. When you chase less, people wonder why they no longer have the power to pull you. This is where magnetic aura is born. You stop feeding the world cheap access to your soul. You become careful with your energy. You understand that not every person deserves the real story behind your eyes. Some people only deserve the version of you that is calm, respectful, and distant. Nothing more. The old you may have felt guilty for being private. The old you may have thought silence was rude. The old you may have believed that if you explained enough, people would finally understand your heart. But the old you was naive. Explanation does not create respect. Boundaries do. Repetition does not create loyalty. Standards do. Emotional exposure does not create love. It often creates leverage. And leverage in the wrong hands becomes control. So learn to move with a sealed center. Smile when necessary. Speak when useful. Leave when disrespected. Build when unseen. Let people earn deeper access through consistency, not through curiosity. If someone asks where you are going, you do not need to hand them your whole vision. Say enough. Keep the rest protected. If someone asks why you changed, you do not need to drag them through every wound that built you. Say, I had to. Then keep moving. If someone tries to provoke you, remember this. Anger is often a door. If they can make you angry, they can enter. If they can make you explain, they can delay you. If they can make you chase, they can lead you. So close the doors. Let your calm become a wall they cannot climb. The most dangerous man in the room is not the one who threatens. It is the one who observes, the one who notices patterns, the one who sees who claps when he wins and who goes silent, the one who sees who jokes with hidden jealousy, the one who sees who appears only when he is useful, the one who does not announce what he sees. He stores it, he studies it, he adjusts. That is power. Most people lose because they react before they understand. They speak before they observe. They judge before they gather evidence. But you must become different. Your eyes must become sharper than your tongue. Your patience must become heavier than your ego. Your silence must become more dangerous than your anger. Comment this now. I move in silence and my aura speaks. Write it because it is not just a phrase. It is a command. From today, stop offering your energy like a free sample to everyone who passes by. Stop telling people your problems when they have not proven they can respect your pain. Stop sharing your dreams with those who secretly want you to stay common. Stop telling everyone what hurt you because weak people ask out of concern, but dangerous people ask for information. Learn the difference. A magnetic man is warm by choice, not by weakness. He can be kind, but not available for exploitation. He can be respectful, but not submissive. He can listen, but not absorb poison. He can love, but not lose himself. This is the balance that makes you untouchable. Too much softness makes you controllable. Too much hardness makes you isolated. Controlled mystery gives you both attraction and protection. People feel that there is depth, but they cannot own it. They feel that there is fire, but they cannot play with it. They feel that there is a story, but they cannot force you to tell it. That is when your presence becomes expensive. And remember this, you do not become the main character by begging the world to give you a bigger role. You become the main character by removing yourself from scenes that insult your value. You stop attending emotional wars that do not serve your mission. You stop giving long explanations to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop trying to be seen by eyes that were trained to ignore greatness. Your life becomes cleaner. Your circle becomes smaller. Your standards become sharper. Your words become fewer. Your movements become heavier. And slowly, the same people who once overlooked you begin to feel that something has shifted. They cannot name it. They cannot explain it, but they feel it. You are not moving like a man who needs approval anymore. You are moving like a man who already belongs to himself. That is controlled mystery. That is magnetic aura. That is power without noise. Number 4, build the frame. No one can break. The fourth law of main character energy is frame. Frame is the invisible territory around your mind. It is the reality you decide to live from, even when other people try to drag you into theirs. Most men do not have a frame. They have moods. They have reactions. They have borrowed opinions. They become serious around serious people, childish around childish people, nervous around confident people, and weak around anyone who withdraws approval. That is not personality. That is emotional slavery. A man without frame is easy to program. Praise him, and he becomes soft. Insult him, and he becomes wild. Ignore him, and he becomes desperate. Invite him, and he forgets his standards. Reject him, and he forgets his worth. This is why the world does not respect him. He is not standing on his own ground. He is renting space inside other people's judgment. Machiavelli would tell you that power begins when your inner world stops being negotiated in public. You cannot let every voice become a vote on your identity. You cannot let every look become a verdict. You cannot let every woman, friend, enemy, stranger, or critic decide the weather inside your soul. If they can change your state, they can control your choices. If they can control your choices, they can control your life. Frame means you decide who you are before you enter the room. You decide your value before anyone claps. You decide your direction before anyone understands. You do not walk into life asking, "Do I belong here?" You walk in knowing, "I will make this place adjust." This is not arrogance. Arrogance is loud insecurity wearing a crown. Frame is quiet certainty wearing discipline. The arrogant man demands recognition because he doubts himself. The framed man does not demand. He demonstrates. He does not need the room to agree with his value. He carries value until the room begins to feel it. This is why your posture matters. This is why your eyes matter. This is why your pace matters. The body tells the truth before the mouth begins lying. If you move like you are apologizing for your existence, people will treat you like an interruption. If you speak like every sentence needs approval, people will listen like they are doing you a favor. But when your body is calm, your words are measured, and your eyes are steady, people sense command. They may not love it, but they recognize it. A magnetic aura is not built by trying to impress. It is built by refusing to be pulled out of alignment. Someone tries to shame you, and you remain composed. Someone tries to flatter you, and you remain grounded. Someone tries to rush you, and you slow down. Someone tries to bait you, and you observe. This is how you break the old pattern. Weak people react to pressure. Powerful people reveal pressure. They let the situation show who lacks control. They do not run to prove they are innocent. They do not bleed words to defend their image. They let time expose truth. Understand this. The person who controls the pace usually controls the power. So stop rushing. Stop answering every message like your life depends on it. Stop making instant decisions because someone else is impatient. Stop explaining your boundaries as if your peace needs court approval. Delay is sometimes dominance. Silence is sometimes strategy. Distance is sometimes the cleanest form of self-respect. Your frame must be stronger than attraction. Many men lose their aura the moment they desire someone. They become comedians, servants, emotional beggars, attention addicts. They stop leading themselves and start auditioning for affection. Never do this. Desire is natural. Surrender is optional. The moment you make another person the center of your emotional universe, your main character energy dies. You become a side plot in their story. Love should meet you on your path, not drag you away from it. Respect should add fire to your mission, not replace the mission. If someone's beauty can make you abandon your standards, then you were never in control. You were only waiting for the right weakness to appear. Your frame must also be stronger than anger. Anger can feel powerful, but uncontrolled anger is easy to steer. The fool thinks rage makes him dangerous. The strategist knows rage makes him readable. When you explode, people learn the button. When you threaten, people see the fear beneath the noise. When you argue too long, you prove the opinion mattered. A powerful man can be furious and still choose silence. He can be disappointed and still walk with dignity. He can be betrayed and still keep his strategy clean. He does not let pain make him sloppy. He turns pain into distance, training, work, money, discipline, and sharper standards. This is how darkness becomes fuel instead of poison. Comment this now. My frame is stronger than their pressure. Say it because the world will test you. The moment you start becoming magnetic, people will try to pull you back into the old version they understood. They will joke about your discipline. They will question your confidence. They will call your peace fake. They will say you changed. Good. Change is the proof that the prison failed. Do not explain the upgrade to people still loyal to your limits. Keep building. Keep moving. Keep carrying yourself like a man with a private mission and a public calm. At Psygrythm, understand this deeply. You are not becoming untouchable by becoming heartless. You are becoming untouchable by becoming unavailable to manipulation. Your kindness will remain, but it will have gates. Your loyalty will remain, but it will have conditions. Your presence will remain, but it will have value. Your heart will remain, but it will no longer be handled by careless hands. That is the frame. That is the throne. That is the inner law. Once you build it, people can disagree with you, dislike you, misunderstand you, or even leave you, but they cannot own you, and the man who cannot be owned becomes impossible to reduce. Number 5. Become the center without asking for the spotlight. The 5th law of main character energy is this. Never chase the spotlight. Become the reason the spotlight moves. Ordinary people run toward attention like starving men running toward bread. They want to be seen so badly that they destroy the very thing that would make people respect them. They post too much, speak too much, flex too much, explain too much. They show the world every little improvement before the improvement has become undeniable. And because of that, their aura becomes cheap. Understand this clearly. The more you beg for attention, the more people feel your hunger. And hunger without control is weakness. A magnetic man does not act like the center. He becomes centered. There is a difference. Acting like the center is noise. Becoming centered is command. When you are centered, you do not need to dominate every conversation. You do not need to make every room about you. You do not need to interrupt, compete, or perform. You carry a quiet force inside you that makes people feel your presence even when you are silent. That force comes from internal order. Your mind is not scattered. Your emotions are not leaking. Your eyes are not searching for approval. Your body is not asking, "Do they like me?" You are there, but you are not begging to be accepted. That is why people begin to notice. Human beings are drawn to what does not chase them. They are curious about what does not open too quickly. They respect what seems complete without them. This is why neediness kills attraction, kills respect, and kills authority. When you need people to validate you, they become your masters. When you need applause, the crowd owns your mood. When you need love, the person you desire controls your dignity. When you need attention, even strangers can make you feel invisible. This is emotional poverty, and Machiavelli would tell you that emotional poverty is one of the easiest ways to be ruled. The man who needs too much can be bought cheaply. Give him a compliment, and he bends. Give him silence, and he panics. Give him rejection, and he crawls. Give him a little affection, and he abandons his mission. Never become that man. Build yourself until attention becomes a bonus, not a requirement. Build yourself until praise feels pleasant but not necessary. Build yourself until rejection feels informative, not destructive. Build yourself until you can stand alone without feeling abandoned. This is where magnetic aura becomes real. Because when people sense that you can walk away without collapsing, they feel your value. They understand that you are not trapped by desire. You are not controlled by loneliness. You are not owned by their approval. That makes you dangerous in the most silent way. The world is used to people who can be pulled with emotion. But when they meet someone who cannot be easily pulled, they begin to study him. They ask themselves, why is he so calm? Why does he not chase? Why does he not react like the others? That question is the beginning of your influence. Your mission must be stronger than your need for attention. Your standards must be stronger than your fear of missing out. Your discipline must be stronger than your desire to be understood. If you want main character energy, your life must look like it is being led by a private command. You wake up with direction, you train with purpose, you work with intensity, you speak with intention, you leave places that waste your energy, you stop giving dramatic people the privilege of disturbing your peace. You stop letting bored minds turn your life into entertainment. Your focus becomes sacred. And when focus becomes sacred, your aura becomes sharp. People can feel when a man is moving towards something. They can feel when he is not available for nonsense. They can feel when his time is guarded. That feeling creates respect before you ever ask for it. Comment this now. I am the center of my own power. Write it because you need to hear yourself declare it. You are not here to become a puppet for reactions. You are not here to dance for approval. You are not here to shrink so insecure people can feel tall. You are here to build a presence so solid that people feel your absence as much as your arrival. This is the hidden power of a main character. He does not need to be everywhere because wherever he goes, he is fully there. Most people are physically present but mentally begging. They are checking who noticed them, who liked them, who ignored them, who respected them, who did not reply, who watched their story, who praised their look, who gave them attention. Their energy is scattered across 100 weak desires. No wonder they feel invisible. A scattered man has no gravity. A focused man does. The focused man pulls life toward him because his energy is not leaking everywhere. He saves his force. He invests it. He turns it into skill, money, strength, knowledge, patience, and self-command. Then, when he walks into a room, he carries the weight of all the private battles he has won. That weight cannot be faked. Expensive clothes cannot fake it. Loud words cannot fake it. Fake confidence cannot fake it. People may not know your story, but they can feel your self-respect. They can feel your discipline. They can feel when you have stopped negotiating with weakness. That is why you must win in private. Win the morning. Win your habits. Win your impulses. Win the urge to reply emotionally. Win the urge to chase someone who is giving you confusion. Win the urge to announce your next move before it is complete. Win the urge to entertain people who have not earned access. Every private victory adds weight to your presence. Every kept promise sharpens your eyes. Every controlled reaction deepens your aura. You become less explainable and more unforgettable. But remember, becoming the center of your own power will offend people who are used to being the center of your weakness. They will call you distant. Let them. They will call you changed. Accept it. They will call you cold. Smile. Because what they call cold is often just the temperature of a man who stopped burning himself to keep others warm. You do not need to be cruel. You need to be governed. You do not need to be loud. You need to be undeniable. You do not need to force people to see you. You need to become so aligned with your mission that your presence becomes impossible to dismiss. This is how kings move. They do not beg the crowd to believe in the throne. They sit on it with such certainty that the crowd eventually accepts the reality. So, stop chasing the spotlight. Stop auditioning for importance. Stop trying to prove that you are the main character. Build the mind, build the body, build the mission, build the silence, build the frame. Then let the world feel the difference. A real magnetic aura is not created by asking, "Look at me." It is created by becoming the man people cannot stop noticing, even when you are not trying. The sixth law of main character energy is discipline. Not the soft kind people talk about for one day and abandon the next morning. I mean the brutal, private discipline that changes how your soul carries itself. Your aura is not built by wishing, it is built by doing what your weaker self refuses to do. It is built when nobody is watching, nobody is clapping, and nobody is rewarding you with praise. That is where the real man is formed. Not in the public eye, in the private war. Most people want magnetic energy, but they do not want the pressure that creates it. They want confidence without sacrifice, respect without standards, attraction without self-control, power without patience. But life does not reward fantasy. Life rewards structure. If your habits are weak, your presence feels weak. If you break every promise you make to yourself, your eyes expose it. You may smile, you may dress well, you may speak loudly, but deep down, your spirit knows when you are lying, and that lie leaks through your aura. This is why discipline is not about looking productive. It is about becoming someone you can trust. When you wake up on time, you tell your mind, "I lead." When you train your body, you tell your blood, "I endure." When you stay silent instead of reacting, you tell your ego, "I command you." When you work while others waste time, you tell your future, "I am coming prepared." These invisible messages become visible power. They become posture. They become calm. They become eyes that no longer beg. Machiavelli would understand this clearly. A ruler who cannot rule himself becomes a servant of stronger men. If you cannot control your appetite, anger, fear, tongue, laziness, and need for attention, then you are not free. You are only waiting for the next temptation to expose your chains. Main character energy begins when you stop being dragged by every impulse. You do not reply just because emotion screams. You do not chase just because loneliness whispers. You do not quit just because resistance appears. You become the commander of your inner army. And once you command yourself, people feel it. They may not know why your presence feels different, but they feel it. They feel standards behind your silence. They feel that you are not another man floating wherever comfort takes him. Comfort is the graveyard of aura. The more you worship comfort, the more ordinary you become. The man who needs ease becomes fragile. The man who trains through discomfort becomes dangerous, not because he threatens people, but because he no longer threatens himself with weakness. Comment this now. I command myself before I command the room. Write it, because this is the foundation of all power. You cannot build a magnetic aura while secretly betraying your own rules. You cannot walk like a king if you live like a servant to excuses. You cannot expect the world to take you seriously when you do not take your own words seriously. Every missed promise weakens your inner authority. Every kept promise strengthens it. This is the hidden currency of presence. So build rituals that make you harder to break. Wake earlier than your excuses. Train when your mood is dead. Read when your mind wants cheap entertainment. Work when your body wants delay. Save money when your ego wants to show off. Speak less when your pride wants attention. Walk away when your desire wants to beg. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you sharpen the blade of your identity. Eventually, people stop seeing a man who is trying. They see a man who has become. That is the difference. Trying still asks for encouragement. Becoming needs no applause. Trying announces the struggle. Becoming lets results speak. Trying says, "I am changing." Becoming walks into the room and makes everyone feel the change without one word. This is what you are building. A presence that carries evidence. Evidence of early mornings. Evidence of hard choices. Evidence of pain that did not make you bitter, but sharper. Evidence of betrayal that did not make you desperate, but wiser. At Psych Rhythm, understand this lesson deeply. Your aura is your history made visible, not the history you tell people, the history your body remembers, the history of moments you wanted to collapse but stayed composed, the history of nights you wanted to run back to old habits but chose your future, the history of being underestimated and deciding to build instead of complain. That history becomes magnetic because it is real. No one can fake long-term discipline. They can fake confidence for an hour. They can fake style for a day. They can fake mystery for a conversation. But they cannot fake the calm of a man who has defeated himself 1,000 times in private. That calm is earned. That calm is attractive because it does not need permission. So from today, stop asking how to become magnetic and start asking what weakness must die, what habit must be buried, what excuse must be destroyed, what desire must be controlled, what distraction must be removed. Main character energy is not added to you. It is revealed when everything weak is stripped away. Discipline removes the noise. It cuts away desperation. It burns the cheap hunger for approval. And what remains is the real you. Sharper, colder, cleaner, harder to move. Build that man daily. Build him when no one believes. Build him when no one watches. Build him when the old self begs for comfort. One day you will enter a room and people will feel something before you speak. They will not know your sacrifices. They will not know your battles, but they will feel the weight of your private victories. That is aura. That is discipline made visible. That is main character energy. Number 7, master detachment and become untouchable. The 7th law of main character energy is detachment, not coldness, not emptiness, not pretending you do not care. Detachment is the ability to care without becoming controlled. It is the power to desire without becoming desperate. It is the strength to love without surrendering your self-respect. It is the discipline to walk away from what weakens you, even when your emotions beg you to stay. This is where most people lose their aura. They build confidence, then one person ignores them and they collapse. They build discipline, then one rejection makes them question their entire worth. They build standards, then one beautiful distraction makes them abandon their mission. That is not power, that is dependency wearing a strong mask. Machiavelli would tell you this clearly. The man who cannot detach can be ruled. If someone knows you cannot walk away, they own the price of your dignity. If someone knows silence breaks you, they will use silence like a weapon. If someone knows attention makes you addicted, they will give it and remove it whenever they want control. If someone knows guilt can pull you back, they will use guilt as a chain. This is why detachment is not optional, it is survival. A man without detachment becomes a prisoner of every face he wants to impress, every voice he wants to hear, every person he fears losing, and every outcome he cannot accept. You must become different. You must train yourself to want things deeply, but never worship them. Want success, but do not let failure destroy your identity. Want love, but do not let affection turn you into a beggar. Want respect, but do not become a performer for applause. Want wealth, but do not sell your soul for coins. Want victory, but do not lose your mind when the battle becomes long. A magnetic man is not magnetic because he has no desires. He is magnetic because his desires do not make him weak. He can look at what he wants and still say, if it costs my peace, it is too expensive. This is the difference between the common man and the powerful man. The common man clings. The powerful man chooses. The common man says, please do not leave. The powerful man says, stay correctly or leave completely. The common man explains his pain to people who caused it. The powerful man removes access and lets silence carry the message. The common man confuses attachment with loyalty. The powerful man understands that loyalty without self-respect is just slow suicide. You were not born to beg for a place in someone's life. You were not built to chase closed doors. You were not created to lose your center every time someone changes their tone. Comment this now. I desire nothing that can destroy my peace. Write it like a command. Because from this moment, your peace becomes protected territory. Nobody enters it with dirty shoes. Nobody turns your mind into a battlefield and then calls it love. Nobody receives your devotion while feeding you confusion. Nobody gets unlimited chances to treat you like an option. This is not ego. This is order. A kingdom without borders gets invaded. A man without boundaries gets drained. A heart without standards gets handled by careless hands. Detachment also means detaching from the need to be understood. This is one of the hardest lessons. Weak people spend years trying to explain themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them. They write long messages. They defend every intention. They replay every conversation. They try to prove they are good, loyal, real, valuable, different. But listen carefully. You cannot force blind people to admire the sun. You cannot make small minds respect a big vision. You cannot convince insecure people to celebrate the strength they secretly resent. So stop standing in courtrooms where no judge is fair. Stop presenting evidence to people who already decided your guilt. Stop bleeding your energy into explanations that change nothing. Your aura becomes stronger when you no longer need everyone to see your heart correctly. Let them misunderstand. Let them gossip. Let them create a version of you that makes them feel innocent. Let them speak. Your mission is not to control every mouth. Your mission is to control your movement. The main character does not stop the story every time a background character whispers. He keeps walking. He keeps rising. He lets time become the witness. He lets results become the answer. He lets silence become the final response. Detachment is also detaching from instant reward. Most people are weak because they need life to pay them quickly. They train for 1 week and want a new body. They work for 1 month and want wealth. They stay silent once and want respect. They post once and want millions of views. This hunger for immediate reward makes them easy to discourage. But a powerful man thinks in seasons. He plants when no one sees. He waters when no one claps. He protects the seed when others laugh at empty soil. He understands that invisible work creates visible dominance. So when progress feels slow, do not panic. Slow growth is still growth. Quiet progress is still progress. Private improvement is still improvement. The seed does not scream under the ground. It grows in darkness until the surface has no choice but to break. That is how you must become. Build in darkness. Build in silence. Build without needing daily proof that you are becoming powerful. One day the proof will walk in with you. It will sit in your posture. It will speak through your eyes. It will echo in the way you no longer rush, beg, chase, or explain. At Psygrythm, remember this. Detachment is not losing emotion. It is refusing to be enslaved by emotion. You can care and still leave. You can love and still choose yourself. You can miss someone and still not return. You can feel pain and still keep your crown straight. This is the cold, masculine discipline that separates men from boys. Boys are dragged by feelings. Men observe feelings and decide what deserves action. Boys panic when attention disappears. Men return attention to the mission. Boys chase closure from people who hurt them. Men create closure through distance. Become that man. The man who cannot be baited. The man who cannot be purchased with compliments. The man who cannot be destroyed by rejection. The man who cannot be controlled by guilt. The man who can sit alone and not feel poor. The man who can lose people and still not lose himself. This is the aura that makes people feel you are not easy to own. And what cannot be owned becomes respected. What cannot be controlled becomes feared. What cannot be easily replaced becomes desired. So detach. Detach from applause. Detach from approval. Detach from emotional games. Detach from the weak version of yourself that needed everyone to stay. Detach from outcomes that make you betray your standards. Hold your mission tighter than you hold people. Hold your discipline tighter than you hold comfort. Hold your self-respect tighter than you hold desire. Because when you finally stop needing the world to choose you, you begin choosing yourself with such force that the world feels the shift. That is main character energy. That is magnetic aura. That is how you become untouchable. The eighth law of main character energy is absence. Most people destroy their value because they are always available, always replying, always explaining, always showing up, always giving energy to people who only respect them when they are useful. They think constant presence creates importance. It does not. Constant presence often creates familiarity, and familiarity without standards becomes disrespect. The world does not value what it can access anytime. It values what feels rare, controlled, and earned. Machiavelli understood that power is not only in appearing, power is also in disappearing at the right time. A ruler who is always visible becomes common. A man who is always reachable becomes predictable. A heart that is always open becomes easy to enter and easy to damage. This is why you must learn the art of strategic absence, not childish silence, not emotional punishment, not disappearing to beg for attention. Real absence is not a game, it is a boundary. It says, my energy is not unlimited, my presence is not automatic, my access is not free. When people disrespect your time, remove your time. When people treat your loyalty like a habit, remove your loyalty. When people only remember you when they need something, remove your availability. Do not announce it. Do not write a long speech. Do not give them a courtroom drama. Just step back, calmly, quietly, completely. Let your absence teach what your words could not. This is where your aura becomes heavier because people begin to feel that you are not a man they can handle casually. They begin to understand that losing access to you has consequences, not because you are cruel, but because you are no longer cheap. A cheap man is everywhere. A powerful man is intentional. A cheap man is available to every emotion. A powerful man is loyal to his mission first. A cheap man waits to be chosen. A powerful man chooses where his energy belongs. Comment this now. My absence speaks louder than my anger. Write it, because anger is often weak. Anger tells people they reached you. Anger tells them they entered your mind. Anger tells them they still control your emotional weather. But absence is different. Absence is clean. Absence is silent. Absence is mature power. It does not beg. It does not threaten. It simply removes the privilege. Do not be afraid of being missed. Do not be afraid of being misunderstood. Do not be afraid of people calling you distant. The ones who only valued your availability will hate your boundaries. The ones who respected your soul will understand your silence. This is how you separate the real from the convenient. When you step back, people reveal themselves. Some will search for you with respect. Some will replace you quickly. Some will blame you because they lost control. Watch all of it, learn from all of it, then adjust your circle. At Psygrythm, remember this deeply. Your presence becomes magnetic when your absence has weight. If people can treat you badly and still receive the same version of you, you have trained them to disrespect you. But when your energy changes after disrespect, they learn. When your access closes after betrayal, they learn. When your attention disappears after manipulation, they learn. You do not need revenge. You need standards. So stop being everywhere. Stop giving full access to half-loyal people. Stop answering every call from your past. Stop returning to places where your spirit was weakened. Build a life so powerful that your absence feels like a loss, not a break. Move with quiet authority. Love with standards. Give with wisdom. Stay where respect lives. Leave where your value is treated like an option. That is how you become unforgettable. Not by forcing people to notice you, but by becoming the kind of presence they feel deeply and the kind of absence they regret losing.